Authenticity is a very popular word right now in business. People want to be able to bring their authentic selves to work and want to work with brands and companies that they perceive are more authentic. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean that if you like to sleep in, that you just roll into meetings whenever you feel like it and you can be late and disruptive because, hey, just being me, I'm just being authentic. That's not what it means. But certainly being inauthentic, not being true to yourself, could lead to some results that you don't like. For instance, I was recently talking with a new leader. He's been in the role about 3 weeks, got about 6 people on his team, and 20-something. So this is his first leadership role. And he's naturally an S on the DISC behavioral model. So quick review of DISC, think of a circle divided in half, top and bottom, and in half side to side. On the top, you have faster paced people who like to move quickly, make decisions quickly. On the bottom half, you have more deliberative people who like to take their time making decisions and process more slowly. And side to side, over on the left, you've got task-oriented people, and on the right, you've got more people-oriented people. Now, everyone's got a blend, everyone's got some of each of these things, but there's also things that are more dominant in your behavior style. So this leader is much more S, more deliberative, longer processing, slower paced person who's very people-oriented. And what's interesting is as a new leader, he's getting feedback that he's being perceived as very D, which is the faster paced, task-oriented type leader. And he's frankly being called a jerk. People are thinking he's kind of jerky because he's moving really quickly and he doesn't seem to care about people. And it's obviously interesting because these are opposites. Where he is naturally slower, more deliberative, he's being accused of going too fast. And where he's naturally more people-oriented, he's being accused of being all about the task. So we talked about this a little bit. Why do you think that might be? He said, I've been actually trying to be more D. I want to succeed. I want to get things done. I want to move quickly. So he's been kind of manufacturing this behavior style to be what he perceives is a stronger leader and having more stronger leadership type characteristics. And that's not wrong. Now you can lead from any of the DISC behavior styles. Whatever your style is will work with leadership. Whether you're faster or slower, task or people, and whatever your combination is, you can win as a leader. You've got to be true to yourself though, and that's where we're starting to see an issue here. This leader is, he's manufacturing this D-type behavior, which is okay because he thought that his natural style was not task-oriented enough and not fast-paced enough. But what he's finding is that he's probably over-indexing on that. So as we talked, we agreed a good next step would be to just notch down that D behavior and be more his authentic S self. Maybe he calls people during the week. It's a little bit of a remote job, sometimes in person, sometimes remote, but call people and just check in with how are they feeling. Not how are you feeling and, hey, by the way, I got you. Well, I got you. Let's go through some tasks. Just how are you feeling? Great. Talk to you later. And make sure they know he cares about them because he really does. It's his natural style. And make sure he's able to bring people along. Hey, did you have questions? Are you good with what we're doing here? Are you ready to move forward on that? How comfortable are you? Instead of, hey, we're ready to go, right? Chop, chop, here we go, which tends to be that D, faster pace style. So he's not wrong to have manufactured some of this D, but he might be just going too far. So we agreed the next step is to bring it down a little bit, to be more of his natural S self, not to lose the D, not to eliminate the D, the faster pace task orientation. You still got to get things done, still want to move quickly, but maybe not so quickly with such a focus on task. We also agreed that he's likely to adjust too far and become too S, and then might need to go back a little bit more towards the D, and then maybe a little bit back to the S, and back and forth with smaller and smaller, hopefully, adjustments till he gets it dialed in. And that's good advice for any leader. Because again, you can succeed from any spot on the DISC model. You just need to be aware of where you are and how you're behaving and what your style is and how that's working with your team, and then make adjustments from there. So don't abandon your authentic self, but also don't stick with it and say, hey, that's just who I am, just being me, to the point that you can't be effective. You can be effective and be authentic. And the DISC model is a great way of thinking about this and being able to evaluate yourself and your team to see what adjustments you need to make. So consider where you are on the DISC model and where your team is. Make the appropriate adjustments. You might need to go back and forth a little bit to get it dialed in, but be authentic and you can lead well.